Well, welcome everybody to Ignite Humanity Live. I'm your host, Lady JB Owen, and it's a thriving Thursday. That's right. We're talking about solutions today, ways that you can step into igniting humanity through easy, implementable solutions that you can do at home just all by yourself that will create this wonderful ripple effect around humanity. And why are we igniting humanity? Well, we all need to be paying attention to what's going on with our humanity so that we can have a better world and a better future. And we love the idea of giving you suggestions and keys and clues on ways that you can ignite humanity in your life first, and that will radiate to people around the world. How do we do that? Well, we love to talk about ignite moments, those magical moments in your life that have profoundly changed you. And many people have ignite moments that, although have been challenging and difficult, they've actually used that ignite moment to move forward, to do something more in the sense of igniting humanity, more profound, more on purpose, more on mission, more on task for them. And we love to tell those moments because people become the hero of their story, not the victim. And in being the hero, that inspires each and every one of us to do the same, to ignite our lives, to ignite humanity, and to step forth into the greatest version of ourselves. Well, again, it's Fabulous Thursday, so we're talking about solutions. So let's introduce our guest. Brad Walsh is a professional photographer who found himself wanting to inspire others during the pandemic. He birthed the idea of empowerography as a platform to highlight strong, inspired, and dynamic women to share their stories of success, triumph, resiliency, and transformation. Brad had no idea what started as a simple concept would take on a life of its own. He's excited to share that this platform with you to to continue, empower, elevate, and educate by amplifying the voices of women all over the world and igniting humanity in turn. Let's welcome him to the show. Welcome, welcome.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction, JB. I am absolutely honored and excited and blessed to be here with you today. I cannot wait to jump on board and share with your audience all the beauty that I am trying to put out into the world through the work I'm doing. So thank you for this opportunity.
And thank you, because I'm always a reflection of my guests. And as you can see, I'm nice and hyper and excited
Yes.
and challenged and upbeat.
And I love it.
And that's because you and I had a really profound and powerful experience on your show not that long ago. Beautiful, beautiful experience of me to be on your show. And I want to say, I felt empowered. I felt inspired. I really felt the care and attention that you are putting into creating a podcast of this capacity. Start from the beginning. Tell us the little impetus of that inspiration during the pandemic.
Oh, well, instead of, I'm a photographer, as you mentioned in my bio, in my introduction. And obviously, with the pandemic, I couldn't be booking photo sessions. And I just thought, there's no way I'm going to sit around and complain with everyone else. I didn't want to be on that train. I thought, I'm going to actually flip the script, flip the narrative on this, and take advantage of this gift. I saw that what we were going through was a gift instead of seeing it as a curse. And I thought, why not use this time that I have currently to create something good and put something positive out into the world? Especially then, I felt that's what we needed because there was so much negativity going on in the world. So I reached out to 7 or 8 friends of mine, women who I had known through my photography work, photographers, makeup artists, and I reached out to them and explained my idea behind the platform and what I wanted to do with it. Now, I had never interviewed people before. I mean, I had my audiovisual background because that's what I worked as in corporate, but I thought, I'm going to put something good out into the world. So I reached out to them and asked them to help me get the platform off the ground by letting me interview them. Thankfully, they all said yes. I did the interviews and I created the content, and it just went from there. It was an absolutely incredible and beautiful experience.
What a divine gift, because I've done thousands of podcasts and I just want to share with you and the folks listening such a great experience. Your questioning, your inquiry, your dazzlement in conversation, and then just pulling out of me, something unique and interesting, because a lot of times podcasts can be very cookie cutter. And I just want to say bravo to you. It was such a great show. It was so, I could really, thank goodness for virtual and technology, but I could really feel this beautiful conversation having this wonderful kindling effect. And so let's use the word ignite. How can conversations and sharing create this real beautiful kindle within us?
Well, I think it's about asking the question, asking the right questions. And I want to start first off by saying thank you so much for that incredible compliment. I mean, as you said, you've done thousands of interviews, and to bestow that onto me by saying it was the experience that you experienced by being, I am so grateful. And that means the world to me. Thank you, first of all. But I think it's about creating an experience to through asking questions, creating questions that make your guests think. I think that's incredibly important. I want every one of my guests to walk away from that experience of sitting with me, that spending that hour with me, like they had to think. It caused them to think about things. And I want to put them into a space where they feel comfortable sharing their vulnerability, sharing some of the most vulnerable moments of their life. I look at that experience when I'm interviewing my guests as I am in the car with them going for a drive. It's their car. I'm the passenger. They're taking me along for the ride of their life. And they have allowed me into that space. And what an incredible gift that is for me to be invited into that space to share in that journey. That's a very personal space. And so for me to be invited into that, it's an incredible honor, but it's about asking the questions that
Mm.
prompt and pull the answers, pull the story out of your guests, and pull the story out of whoever it is you're speaking with. It's about
Oh,
listening.
yeah, very true. Let's deepen the question a little bit. How can we make the connection for our viewers? How are podcasts and igniting humanity? How do they go hand in hand? How does that work together? Let's explore that and talk about that, because we are in a world where podcasting is very popular now. People are
Hmm.
listening to them many different ways, on their way to work, on their way home, while they're
Yeah.
cooking dinner, utilizing this as a form of communication, as a form of storytelling. This has replaced a lot of the camp fitting around the
Hmm.
campfire. Share a little bit about your opinion, how podcasting is igniting humanity.
I think it's completely changed because it's giving the people access to hear stories, to hear people, to connect with people on a level and in spaces where they never would have the opportunity to connect with them. As a podcaster, you have the ability to reach thousands and thousands of people that you normally wouldn't have access to. It's an incredible gift. And again, it's about creating that space for yourself as the host and the guest to feel comfortable in sharing those stories to help to bring the audience in, to pull them in. They want to hear something because, as we know, people's attention spans, you have what, three to 7 seconds to grab someone's attention. So you want to create an environment where the conversation flows and is comfortable and it draws people in. And you do that by providing the space. You do that by, as a host, listening. I think it's our job to listen more than anything. It's about
Mm.
the podcasting world. It's not about the host. It's about the guest. It's about shining a light on them and allowing them the space to share, to get comfortable enough to share their stories, which will then ignite other people as they're listening to know what's possible for them by listening to the stories. That's what storytelling is all about, is providing
Mm.
that space and providing that gift for people to know that this too is possible for me. If Brad can do this, or if JB can do this in their lives, this too is possible for me.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I said in the bio, and you shared that you just saw a problem, created a solution. And folks, that's
Hmm.
one solution day. Ding, ding, ding. That's
Ding,
one of
ding,
the
ding, ding,
number
ding.
one solutions. That's the number one solution. Really, if we're going to ignite humanity, see a problem and find the solution. Don't keep complaining. Don't keep adding to the problem. Be
Yes.
part of the solution. I love what you said about authentic storytelling, because that mirrors what I believe as a publisher. We publish 750 authors telling their authentic stories in print. But let's talk about the power of hearing the voice, hearing the tonality, the intention, the
Hmm.
sharing. There's so much in that. A lot of podcasts obviously are not visual, they're strictly auditory.
Yeah.
Is there something you know about how the auditory stimulates that empathy and compassion that we're needing amongst humanity?
Yeah, I think that when people are tuning into podcasts, and like you said, it's auditory only, I think with the tone and the inflection of the speakers, both the host and the guest, it creates that sense of connection for people so they can hear and they can empathize and they can. I think it allows people to put themselves into the shoes of the guest by hearing that story and hearing the inflections in the voice, hearing the passion. It just brings you right into the story. It pulls you in as it does with interviews. It pulls you in when you hear the voice and you can relate. It makes it relatable. It makes it more. authentic when you can hear the voice and hear the passion, hear the emotion in the voice. We are emotive beings. This is part of who we are. We emote. So when you're telling your story, to use those emotions to tell the story, which help bring the people into the story to make them feel like they are a part of it. You have a captive audience when they are listening to a podcast. So utilize that opportunity to get into their heads, to pull them in, to make them feel part of the story. That's what it's about.
Mm, wonderfully said, because also when we're looking at things, right, we get caught up on, oh, look at JB's big bright lipstick, or oh, look at what's in the background, or oh, look, there's a hair out of place.
Yeah.
But when we're listening, right, we're so much closer to the brain. We're listening,
Yeah.
and we're creating our own vision and our own imagination. We're formulating our own picture. And I think that is so brings us so much deeper into the experience, because we're not just passively watching, but we're really truly engaging with another one of our beautiful senses, our ears. Let me
Yes.
shift gears and ask you this.
Yeah.
Why women? Why did you decide women? I mean, and I just want to congratulate you for being a beautiful, conscious male,
Thank you.
evolved in so many beautiful, amazing ways. But why women? Why? I mean, this isn't common. And I, again, congratulate you. Why did you choose women?
Thank you. Well, it goes back to the foundation for it all, which are my mom and my grandmother. I was raised by those two women. My mom left my biological father when I was 10 years old. He was having an affair. And back in those days, the women were the ones who stayed home to look after and raise the children, while the husband was the one working. So when I looked back at that as an adult male, obviously as a kid, I didn't understand it. But as an adult male, the fact that my mother had the strength and the courage and the resilience and the support, of course, from her mother, my grandmother, to stand up and say no after 15 years of marriage, to say, I'm not taking this anymore. And I don't deserve this. And I refuse to take it anymore. I'm taking my boys and we're leaving. And we left with nothing but the clothes on our back. We moved into a 1-bedroom apartment. My mom slept on a couch. My brother and I shared a bedroom. And she had to get a job after being out of work for 10 years because she stayed home to sacrifice and raise us, sacrifice for us and raise us. And so when she was at work, my grandmother would step in and help raise us. So my grandmother was like a second mother to me. And I mean, those two women, I wouldn't be the man I am today without those two women. They made me who I am. And then, of course, now being a father to two girls, my daughters are 22 and 24 now, and being a husband to a beautiful wife, my girls were bullied in elementary school, and seeing what they went through, and just the fact that there are so many millions of women and young girls who go through and deal with that kind of thing on a daily basis and have it affect how they view themselves. They don't love themselves. They don't feel confident. It was just inbred in me, always being around women, being raised by women, always having women around me. I had to do it. It's my way of saying thank you to women and giving back to women because of what these 5 particular women in my life have given to me and brought to my life and helped shape who I am today as a man.
Wow. So beautifully said. And of course, folks, you want to lean in more as Brad's telling his story. You're leaning in and you're leaning in. Why? Because when someone shares with you their genuine, honest, vulnerable truth, we can't help but feel more connected to them. And what's beautiful about your story is I started to think about my story, about being a single mom and raising my 2 kids. And I think about my son, who's now 19. Does he look back and think that all the mistakes I think that I made, he actually views them as my mom did a good job. My mom did the best she could. And so as you were telling your story, and this is the magic of storytelling, I started to layer my story on top of it. And I started to implement your sentiment into my sentiment. And that, folks, makes us feel closer. I feel more connected to Brad. I feel closer to him. I feel more aligned with him because I know about his stories. I know about his daughters. I know about his mom and his grandmother. And I just want to say thank you for sharing that, because if we're going to ignite humanity, we need to bring people together. We need to make people start to care. And how do they care? By knowing where you've come from, by knowing your journey, by knowing your past. And it's beautiful that you shared that. Was there an ignite moment that sparked through all of that that made you say, I'm doing this despite all the people who probably told you, Brad, what are you thinking? That's crazy.
Yeah, there was, as I said before, I worked in corporate as an audiovisual tech in an accounting firm, and I worked in corporate for 12 and a half years. And so I'll be honest, the first 6 years of my career, I loved it. I loved going to work. I really enjoyed that. But I got to a point after that 6 year mark, JB, I lost all interest. I had no desire. I actually despised going to work. And I would sit there and stare out the window and dream about my photography business, because that's where it all started for me, was photography. And so I would sit there and think about, I've got to get out of this corporate life. It doesn't fulfill me. It doesn't fill my heart. It doesn't fill my soul. And I don't want to live like this anymore. It's a terrible way to live, going to a job that you hate, absolutely
Mm.
hate, and
Mm-hmm.
having to go through that. But my mind was always on the photography. And albeit it didn't happen for another 6 years, but sitting in that office was that ignite moment. I just thought, I have to do something about this. It has to change. And it took a while, but for me, finally making that leap into the world of photography and pursuing my first love, my first passion of photography. And that's where my journey into women's empowerment actually began, was through boudoir photography and empowering women through this genre of photography. So that was my ignite moment,
Mm.
is sitting in that office and just realizing there has to be more than this.
Again, I love that. I think of a time when I was young, 26, I started working in the film business, and I was so eager and showed up every day on set, like so happy to be in the film business. And there were some older ladies who'd been in the business for many years, sitting on their chair, grumpy, kind of crabby, didn't want to get up, didn't want to go check when they were supposed to, would just kind of like nod, yeah, it's fine. I'm not. And I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, if I ever get like that, like I'm quitting. And fast forward 15 years, I remember the very day I was sitting in my chair and this new young kid came on the set and they were all excited. And I was like, yeah, good enough. And I was like, I quit. Like I quit the next day. I was like, I promised myself that I would never be that. And so your story reminds me of my story, which again creates this wonderful beautifulness together. Let me ask you about photography.
Sure.
What is it about taking our photos that's so empowering? Why is it when we take our photos, we feel so empowered as women?
I think because, well, first of all, I think you're capturing a moment in time that you can never capture again. It's that
Mm,
split second that you're capturing that you can never, ever repeat, no matter how much you try. You can never capture that exact same moment. But also for me as a photographer, the gift of being behind the lens and showing these women their true selves, capturing them in a light that they're not used to seeing themselves in, and giving them that gift of seeing who they truly are in that moment, it is absolutely incredible. I get to witness transformation unfold right before my very eyes, and that selfishly is a gift for me. Yes, it
mm,
gives to them as well, of course it does, but for me to be part of that transformation by creating the space to capture these images is one of the most powerful gifts you could ever give to another human being. It is so
mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah, very true. I love doing photo shoots. I love getting all my authors to do photo shoots. I think it's so empowering. And a great photo speaks volumes of who you are. And it tells people, instantly what you stand for, what you believe in, how you want to be shown and known in the world. So I think it's fantastic. Now, before the show, I talked a little bit about solutions. You have some
Mhm.
solutions and some ideas that you can layer in with our viewers so they can, wake up and ignite humanity right after the show.
Yeah, I have a practice. I call it my MMJ practice. It's movement, meditation, and journaling. And so I start my days with going out for a walk. First thing in the morning, I'll get up at 5:30 in the morning, go for a walk. I come home, take a shower, then I sit down at my desk. Don't open any emails, anything like that. I sit down, I meditate for anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, depending on how I'm feeling. And then right after my meditation is finished, I sit down with my journal and I journal. I use the 5 minute journal, and I also use just a regular journal, like just free journal. But following that practice, I've found and I've learned through interviewing over 500 women that a lot of these women that I've spoken to and that's how they need that time for themselves
Mm,
in order to
mhm,
fill their cups so that they can then fill others' cups. That is integral to starting the day, and that's where we should be starting, is filling our cups first. And you always hear people saying that's selfish, and we've been conditioned to believe that self-care and putting ourselves first is selfish. And that has been, I mean, I saw it with my mother, I saw it with my grandmother. It's been passed down from generation to generation, but I'm here to tell you it is not selfish at all. it is necessary. You need to fill your cup first. Otherwise,
Mhm.
you can't pour from an empty cup. And I know that sounds very cliche, but I don't know how else to put it. It's true.
Mm.
You have to be able to fill your cup first so you can give to others. Because when it all comes down to it, we are all here to support each other, to give, to be in and of service to one another.
Yeah, it's really well said. And I think women, we are notorious for nurturing, taking care
Yes.
of, even people pleasing, making sure everybody else is okay before
Uh-huh.
we are.
Yeah.
And it's really important to have a morning practice. I always like to get up before the kids and do my morning practice so that once they're up and all goes crazy,
Yeah.
I've got at least my morning practice in, and I've nurtured myself and taken care of myself. And so I think that's really, really valuable information. Any other wonderful things that you've learned in the 500 women that you have interviewed? Is there a common thread amongst those interviews?
The morning routine is a very common one, but also believing in yourself and going after what you want. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do anything. I know that we have all the external noise of other people that we have to deal with. And I mean, I dealt with that when I was leaving corporate. People say you're leaving a corporate job with the golden handcuffs, the benefits, all of these things. There's so many photographers out there that, listen, there is more than enough to go around for everybody. So don't let anyone tell you that it's no, you're crazy for doing that, or there's all these whatever coaches. There's all these coaches out there. How are you gonna your difference, your gift
Mhm.
is you. You are unique. No one else is you. No one else can provide the service that you provide. Whatever industry it is you're in, go after it. Don't let anyone stop you. Do not let anyone dim your light.
It's so well said. And with the world the way it is now, lots of people are commenting on your life and what you're
Hmm.
doing. And I'm with you. Like, don't let anyone tell you it's not possible. Someone else's no is just their no. And I
That's right.
always say no means next option, new
Yes, I love that.
opportunity, right? When someone says no to you, you're just like, okay, new opportunities around the
Yeah.
corner. It's so
Yep.
true. I also remember my father, who was a consummate entrepreneur, told me one time in our small town, another dry cleaning shop opened up right next door to a dry cleaning shop that had been around for 30 years. And I said to my dad, like, that was a really bad decision. And my dad said, actually, it's not, because there's enough dry cleaning, there's enough clients, there's enough for everyone to have another dry cleaner. But when you are right beside your competitor, it makes you work harder. It makes you be
Yeah.
innovative. It makes you see things differently. And ultimately, if the customers are coming to that part of town for that dry cleaner, they just might come to you. When you offer, and I tell my clients this all the time, offer more than what people pay for. Always give people more than what they pay for, or
Yeah.
more than what they expect. And I want to say, I got way more than what I expected when I came on your podcast again. And my mind is worried. I'm like, I'm going to introduce you to so-and-so. I'm going to connect you with so-and-so, because it was so empowering. And so the name of it is absolutely spot on, very empowering, very
Thank you.
encouraging. Would you say there's something in your mind that you feel you can do? I always say it's an inside job to start igniting humanity. And, what is your overall perspective? What's it going to take to get people ignited and stepping into caring about humanity?
I think it starts with communication, conversation, honestly. And this is why podcasts are so great and TV shows like yours. It's these conversations that ignite the change, because someone listening may hear something that they never thought of before. So I think that if we have the conversations, but also keep in mind when we go into these conversations, listen, use your ears. We have
Mm,
two ears and one mouth for a reason. Listen. And I mean, really listen, not listen to respond, but listen to what the people are talking about, because it could give you a completely different perspective that you never even thought about before, that could change the trajectory. So listening, having conversations, sharing your story, sharing your wisdom. As you know, JB, storytelling is integral. It's a foundation. So when we tell our stories, it's a permission slip for others to share and stand up. So I think that conversation, I think we need to start having more conversation. We need to have conversations about the difficult topics that people don't want to talk about, because if we don't talk about them, nothing's going to change. Conversation is the catalyst for change, in my opinion.
mm, I was listening. But I love the line that you said, telling stories is a permission slip for others to tell their story. It's so true. Our tagline is tell your story, transform your life. And when you tell your story, you truly step into another experience of how your story can help someone else. Well, folks, I hope you have enjoyed this wonderful time I've had with Brad. If you'd like to know what he's up to, please check out his website and see how he can support you. Brad, where do you take photos? Because I'm coming.
I take photos everywhere, anywhere. You
Where's
come to
home? What's your
Toronto,
city? What
Toronto,
city?
Toronto, Toronto. I'm in Toronto, so you come into town, we'll definitely book a shoot. I would be honored. It would be an absolute pleasure and honor to photograph you, JB.
I'm taking you up on that. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Big blessings to you, folks. Have a wonderful time. Thanks, Brad. Have a good day.
Thank you, JB. Appreciate you. Have a great
You
day.
got it. Well, folks, I hope that was empowering to you and you saw how just little things you can do, especially in your morning routine, can make a big difference on your outlook and how you're stepping out into the world and making sure that you're doing your little bit to ignite humanity. If you want to do something big and bold, well, check out our website and see what we're up to at ignitehumanity.life. We are doing the largest compilation book, hoping to set a Guinness Book of World Records with 280 people sharing their Ignite moment in our book and talking about humanity. We're also raising money to build our Ignite Humanity classrooms of inspiration, where we build schools in third world countries, and we are just about to build another school. We'd love for you to donate and share a little bit. We are so close to reaching our goal. If you'd like to be a part of donating to one of our schools, every single dollar buys a brick. We use recycled plastic blocks made from plastic pulled out of the landfill. So you are doing double good with your donation to help the environment and help kids to ignite literacy. We'd also like to encourage you to be a guest on our show. We love to hear from people all over the globe, and you too, I'm sure, have an Ignite moment that has inspired you to do something a little bit different. Now, it doesn't have to be on a grand scale. Just the work you do within yourself start to ignite people and create that massive ripple effect. So if you're doing something special, let us know and reach out to us. Fill out our type form and tell us how you are igniting humanity. Last but not least, we're all coming together May 16th and 17th in Las Vegas for the Ignite Gatherama event. This is where we're going to have speakers talking about your book, your brand, your business, and your breakthroughs, teaching you and sharing you, giving you amazing tools and strategies to help you have a more ignited life and ignite humanity. Check out our website. We'd love to see you in Las Vegas, and I'd love to personally give you a great big hug. All right, blessings and kisses to you. See you tomorrow, and have a great day.
Now, more than ever, we need to come together to connect with one another. We need to feel the truth in who we are and let go of everything that's happened in the past. We need to empower every person on the planet and awaken hearts, enliven souls, come together, laugh, play, rejoice, connect, create, and love. It's time to ignite humanity. We want you to be a part of something that will impact the future for everyone. We want you to tell your story, share your Ignite moment, show people who you truly are. Be a part of igniting humanity and making a difference in the world and all of our futures.